He's like, you never listen to those guys? Come on, you know who those guys are. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about, man.
Those are Z's.
Huh?
Those are Z's.
They don't play enough hipster stuff for me, you know?
Uh-huh.
I can only stand so much Breaking Benjamin. Murray's going to be like, I love Breaking Benjamin.
No, and that the funny part is I would think that's one of those bands that the Point would make fun of, but they love them. So
yeah, them and like Chevelle.
I like Chevelle, though. Let me check. Probably.
Yeah, it starts out with the Ditch That 9 to 5, Time to Feel Alive. Then I do a little intro, and then you play the whole song.
Sounds good.
Or the whole instrumental part. Yeah, I mean, even if it's, yeah, and then it fades out.
Fades to black.
I'm ready.
Fucking ready.
It's that 9 to 5, time to feel alive. This is Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, your Money in the Bank recap, AEW Double or Nothing preview, WWE's new 24/7 belt, that and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast. Sure. I mean, was it not good? Like, did you not like how I stumbled over it or something? Like, now you're doubling as the producer.
I like it.
Yeah, I can do it again. In fact, I can do it better. No problem.
It's that 9 to 5, time to feel alive. This is Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, your Money in the Bank recap, your preview of AEW's Double or Nothing. WWE has a new belt, the 24/7 belt. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast. I think that was better.
A little bit.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Band for Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Jobbert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Stars as Tony Smark in the upcoming Iron Hand 3.
God damn.
And to my right, as always, we have Two Beer, Zach Bowman. What's going on, Two Beer?
That was a good trifecta.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to start out the show by thanking Satan for getting the St. Louis Blues into the Stanley Cup.
Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan.
Pretty exciting times here in St. Louis. You can feel the energy in the city. It's electric.
It really is.
Woogie, woogie, woogie.
And to his right, no Jay Bell tonight. No JCB. He is, I don't know what he's doing. In fact, I don't, you know what? We're just going to let that go.
Oh,
and
God.
to his right, we have Murray, the Murray Man. Murray, what's going on, Murray?
I'm doing great. Was caffeinated a lot earlier, so tonight I figured I'd have a beer instead.
No, man, you're
Yeah,
going to
just
crash.
Trying to mellow it out a little bit.
You're going to
know?
crash halfway through the show.
Hey, you know what's really exciting?
What's that?
We're live on social media right now.
Huh.
Oh,
Where are we?
We're on YouTube right now, but as we speak, I'm actually sharing it to the rest of our social medias. Band from Ringside Podcast on Facebook, Friends of BFR on Facebook. The YouTube channel is Band from Ringside, and then our Twitter at BFR.
I think, at BFR Pod. I guess you could say that we're global then.
Global.
Like you could find us anywhere on the globe.
I think
Anywhere.
it's like Titus Worldwide.
Yeah, exactly like Titus Worldwide. That's how I was at Shot City Studios in, it was rainy. Now it's just humid St. Louis, Missouri. We got Andrew Bushway tonight, where Jay Bell would say, Wally Pip in the house. Before we get too far into it, we got tons of stuff to talk about tonight. But before we get too far into it, we got to talk about that day one-ish sponsor, Soul Taco, that Korean Mexican fusion food that is the best fast casual food in the world, if you ask us. And we're not just saying that because they're that day one-ish sponsor. We're saying that because it is fucking delicious. They have 2 food trucks driving around St. Louis, the St. Louis area, a place in the U-City Loop, Chesterfield, Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, Champaign, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, and maybe another one in Chicago, Illinois, too. Another one coming in Naperville, Illinois, also. So If you've never had Soul Taco, do yourself a favor and go get some. They have delicious spicy pork burritos is my favorite, but some people are partial to the steak. Some people like the kimchi fries. Some people like the tacos and the quesadillas. What I can guarantee is that it's all good. Nay, it's all great. So go get yourself some Soul Taco. All JJ Twigs on pizza in South City that we got going. JJ Twigs is going to be a hopping place this next couple of weeks. The Cardinals have let us down, and they're probably pretty happy that the Blues are doing so well, so we don't have to pay attention to them. But the Blues, they are going to have special beer specials during the Blues games. Go get yourself some JJ Twigs on Southampton. So without further ado, we'll get to our 3 counts.
So much good energy in the city right now. It's so good.
It is.
Yeah.
Some would say Dupree energy.
Yeah.
Dupree.
Yes, Dupree energy. Murray, what's the 1 count?
The 1 count is the positive side of the Money in the Bank match from or pay-per-view from Sunday night.
There was a lot going on at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
A lot going on, enough to where multiple counts are being split up for it.
Yeah, we figured we can do the good for 1 count and the bad for 1 count. So we're going to give positive Murray the 1 count in Jay's stead.
Of course.
And give Zach the negative, which really there was a few negatives, but 1 glaring negative. But we're going to say, we're going to put that in the back burner. We're going to start out positive because of all the positive energy in the city.
So I don't, we could really start anywhere. Let's start with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Positives, it was spot crazy. In my opinion, personally, it was probably one of the better Money in the Bank matches we've had in many years.
Absolutely.
Everybody got a piece, and it literally felt like they were telling that in-ring story that, everybody's always begging for. There was a crazy spot where Ricochet got thrown off the top through a ladder. I know I'm missing another ladder spot that was, I think, on the outside of the ring. It was crazy.
Well,
there was
Finn Balor
had
took 3 bad bumps. He took that sunset flip from Andrade off the top of the ladder.
Andrade just about stole the show as well. Whole match.
Yeah, it was great.
Everybody was so good in that match. The ending of
even
it,
Baron Corbin.
Everybody played their role
Nary
very
a
well.
chin lock to be seen.
But yeah, so it was crazy. Everybody got their spot in, and the crowd was super hot for it. Everybody was excited.
It was a hot crowd, and all night.
Yeah,
it was a good crowd.
And and then it ended. And then there's the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Right.
Again, it was pretty good. It was definitely, it could have been way worse. There was a few botches to be expected. Ember Moon got the only holy shit chant of the night.
Right.
She did that eclipse off the ladder into the ring.
That was dope.
Onto Natty. I can't remember.
I think it was Mandy Rose.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'm not even mad at the ending of that one. Because it was cool. Everybody was hating that Mandy got up on there, and she was obviously going to be taking it down. And then, I'm sorry. She got carried up there because she was actually
Sonya
injured.
Deville carried her
Sonya
up there.
Deville took her up there, which was cool. It was different. I thought she was going to go up and take the thing down like they did last year. It didn't happen. Got up there. That was pretty cool. And then the whole, the Bailey spot where she just got up there and gave them the look like, oh, you guys fucked up. Just face shoved them off the ladders.
And the crowd seemed very receptive to Bailey winning.
Totally
huge pop.
The crowd really liked it. And the crowd popped huge when she cashed in just a little bit later.
Yeah.
Zach, thoughts on the night?
Yeah, as far as like
positives of the night.
That was my number 1 positive of the night was a successful Bailey cash in. It's interesting because you wonder, with WWE, there's really no long-term planning, but is this like a Sasha thing? Like, one could be cynical and think that, with Vince's ego, he had the women's tag team. He kind of gave them what they wanted, took it away, gave it to the Iconics, and one teammate left the company or quit, for a while or stopped performing, and one kept coming to work, and that person won Money in the Bank and is now the SmackDown Women's Champion. So
who also deserved it too, and a lot,
and she needs the heat because she has not been hot in a while. I mean, let's be honest, she's been hot for like a while, but she has not been like the fans have not been hot on her for a long time because she's kind of booked like a joke, but she's a really hard worker, and I'm a fan. And
Yeah, they
so
kind of fucked up her entrance to the main roster from the get go. Like
She's like a Beanie Baby.
they tried doing the exact same thing that she was in NXT, and it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it
you know?
doesn't translate as well. And whenever you job her out all the time, like, you know, it's not gonna, you know, every babyface is an underdog and just sells. It's obnoxious. But another positive was the AJ Styles Seth Rollins match. Probably the best match in WWE main roster this year. I wouldn't say probably. I think that was the best match.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd be hard pressed to think of another one.
Yep. So yeah, it was good stuff.
My favorite part in the Seth Rollins AJ match was the kind of inverted Falcon arrow
that was cool
that he did off the top rope.
I like the curb stomp into the Styles Clash.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I watched it 4 or 5 times in a row. I just kept rewinding it because I didn't watch it live because I was watching Game of Thrones. I decided to be disappointed by that instead of the ending of Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But I watched it, so I knew the endings, but I watched it the curb stomp into the Styles Clash 4 or 5 times, being like, man, that's pretty unbelievable that they pulled that off.
So hard to pull off.
Yeah, how do they? Because he had his foot on the back of Styles' head all for a split second. Like, it was perfectly executed, and they definitely made Vince was definitely in somebody's ear to keep reminding everybody that AJ and Seth were the 2 best in-ring technicians that WWE has, if not in the world. And at least Vince recognizes that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
he doesn't recognize a whole lot else, but he does recognize, well, he probably just thinks that other people think that. But that is the case.
It's like, and can you believe it? They're both under 6'2".
Right. I would also point to the Lacey Evans Becky Lynch match. The question in my mind was, is Lacey Evans is she going to step up to the plate? Is she going to become big enough for this moment? You know, because it is her first main roster match. And I thought that she looked really good. I thought that she worked really well. I liked the way that match was booked and the way that Charlotte's match was coming in right on the heels, and having those 2 women tag up on Becky, I thought was really well done.
Yeah, Lacey was way better than I expected. Like, she did a great job.
If I didn't know any better though, I would have thought it was Charlotte. We're staying with the positives though. I'm saying she did really good, but she had a lot of Charlotte moves. In my opinion, she moved like Charlotte. She had a lot of that. Flair,
well, I mean, we could have criticisms and say,
right, but it was a good angle.
All I know is that I'm really gonna come with I'm gonna start shitting on everything here in a couple minutes. So I'm just trying to keep it up here for a little while. So.
I do think it was weird the whole time. I felt like that was supposed to be Sasha's spot though, because it was the 4 of them.
Yeah, I know.
That whole angle. But I'm not gonna lie, like you said, she impressed me though with that whole thing. It went way better than I expected.
They kept it short.
Yeah, they kept it short. Yeah, that segment, that you don't need to have 2 25-minute matches. I mean, I think the Lacey Evans one was like 9 minutes and the Charlotte one was only like 6, which is perfect.
Yeah. At the house show that we were at last month, there was like a 15-minute Becky Alexa Bliss match. It was fucking god awful.
Right.
Like,
it wasn't good.
Miserable.
Question about now, because now Charlotte, that gives Charlotte another title reign, even though she got cashed in on.
Yep.
Yeah.
An interesting thing that I saw on Twitter was somebody suggested that they're trying to get Charlotte to 16 title reigns. I don't know what this is now. Is it 9 or something?
9.
Yep.
Are they trying to get her to 16 title reigns before Rick dies?
Maybe.
I don't see why that would matter. In my opinion,
they're going to get her there one way or the other.
They're going to get her there for sure.
She'll get there, and then
barring something catastrophic, an injury or something.
Because she's the future of women's wrestling, at least in the WWE
and the present.
Right. So,
but man, it's at least 8 now.
No, she's 9. This one was 9.
It's 9. I mean, that is
which
9,
means she'll have 10.
That is 9 title reigns in probably less than 5 years.
Yeah, definitely less than 5 years.
She's really fucking good, though.
Yeah, that means she's lost it 8 times. No, it means she's lost it 9 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seems really. I mean, they're really doing them rapid fire.
I don't like the number of title reigns thing. It doesn't matter. To me, it's much more impressive, like longevity of individual reigns. Like Okada is the most impressive title reign that I've seen in my life, like in my lifetime. And dude's the absolute future of Japan megastar. Like
He's only like 31.
Yeah. And he's the guy because of that reign and his performance, during it.
I guess it's just that because Rick has made it so iconic with saying the 16 time.
Even though it's like 20 something.
Well, the only people they ever talk about is it.
Well,
it just depends on what you count.
WCW.
Oh, you count it all. NWA,
I don't think they count NWA.
No, they probably don't.
The WCW used to count the NWA one because that was the lineage.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now it's not. But who knows?
All right, so that was the good stuff. Kofi beating
KO was awesome.
KO was good.
That was good too.
Not anything to write home about.
I was actually going to say that if you want to do the 2 count, that was actually one of a small negative. Not the match itself.
That might be the first time anybody's called for the bell besides me.
I've been sitting here. Look at he's sweating.
No, I'm good. I'm good with
He's
this.
the fucking bell.
That was a total fucking St. Louis screw job. The match.
You see my eyebrows.
The match was fine, but they put it on after that fucking AJ.
They should have flipped it.
Yeah, they really should have flipped it because the crowd just was not as hot, after that. And they do that thing where they like try to like heat you up and cool you down and heat you up and cool you down and give you time to like take
That's
a
not
piss.
the matches to do that with, though.
No, there's absolutely not. Maybe they thought that it would be a bigger deal, because they're really pushing Kofi hard, and he's not jobbing out. They like to beat their champions. He's beating top guys all the time. He's looking good. Like they're really trying to make him strong. So, but yeah,
pancakes.
It's a minor negative. My biggest negative of the show might surprise you. It's not the one that everybody thinks. I'm sitting there, Game of Thrones is over. I think maybe it was before. I don't know. I was a little lit. Fucking Lucha House Party comes out. I'm like, what the fuck are these jobbers doing out here? Oh, they're out here to get destroyed by Lars Sullivan. So
that happened?
Yeah, that
That's
happened.
why they redid it on whichever show.
And Lars got busted open like
he headbutt one of
Callisto.
Yeah.
That happened on the pay-per-view?
On the pay-per-view, yeah.
Oh, that is garbage.
So
I did not know that.
I got rather than watch it or the last episode of Game of Thrones, I've got this will take a little planning, but I have a very similar experience that you can indulge in. Just work out in the same pair of shorts for 2 weeks, and then go to Soul Taco right after the gym and get 3 burritos with extra kimchi,
spicy pork,
and just fucking pound them and race to whatever toilet you can find and just unload, and then take those shorts and then stick your head in the bowl through those gym shorts, and that'll be more enjoyable than Game of Thrones or this fucking Lucha House Party thing. So
that was a long way to go.
Yeah, so we got there eventually.
Yeah,
that was the thing you hated the most, huh?
I don't know. Realistically, I was just so stunned. I loved Bill's text message that I got after the fucking Rock winning. I was just so stunned. I mean, I was pissed, obviously.
I laughed.
And numerous people were. But yeah, it was almost just how bad can it get? And Bill's text was just perfect. He's like, stunning move. Probably the most Vince thing that has ever happened.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see Jericho's tweet about it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was
that
on
was
Friends of BFR on Facebook.
Yeah.
That is the most Vince thing that I could even think of. Murray, go with the negative, Murray. I'm
one negative.
Yeah, no, just anything. Just
Well,
I'm saving myself. I'm getting ready to unload.
The only reason why I hated the Brock Lesnar thing, because again, I'm not surprised by it whatsoever, and so it didn't really shock me that much. What pissed me off about it though is if this would have been a halfway decent match, the men's Money in the Bank, then fuck it, throw Brock in there. But these dudes busted their fucking ass that whole match. And so that to me, I mean, maybe it didn't affect any of the guys in the ring. Maybe they obviously knew about it going into it, whatever the case may be. But if it would have just been a mediocre Money in the Bank match and Brock came out, I'd have been a little upset. My main gripe of the night, and I don't know if it's even a gripe, but like I feel like Ray broke Joe's nose and they ended it there, and now they're making it. They probably called pull your shoulder up so we can have an excuse on this, but they called that match shorter than it was supposed to be.
I forgot about that. That was a negative, but it was an unavoidable one.
That's kind of what I was getting at too.
Yeah,
otherwise Shane and Miz.
Joe broke that. Oh God, yeah. See,
So
this was a good show overall, but there with the heights, you've got the lows. Shane Miz match was fucking terrible.
Who cares? Yeah.
But
the Joe thing, it just sucked. It was unfortunate because maybe it was still supposed to be a short match.
Yeah.
Maybe the ending was still supposed to happen similarly, but he almost immediately after he pulled that move that broke Undertaker's nose. And nobody's calling him out like that.
But I would rather safety.
Right.
And call a match early and have an unfortunate
it looked real good on Joe, though.
Yeah, it really did. And the way that it worked
immediately
out.
went in and got his heat back. I mean, he went in and beat the hell out of him.
He looked like he was in pain.
That's the second time that Joe's gotten screwed out of a big match because of blood, because they called the NXT match with him and Finn Balor short, too, because he was busted open.
Well,
and he was like visibly angry.
Yeah.
Well, it took all the juice out of the match.
Well, and the guys will never stop.
No.
Fucking,
and they don't want to. They're like,
especially
hey, we can use this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all busted open. Let's use this to enhance the match.
Joe did, to his credit. I mean, that image, I don't know if he could see his face, but it went with Joe. It made him look even meaner. So it's a positive and a negative, I guess.
Okay, so my most negative thing of the night
here we go
is that Brock Lesnar won the Money in the Bank. Now, Brock Lesnar, I don't even know where to start with this. I've been sitting here thinking about it. I don't even know where to start, but I'll start with this. Brock Lesnar can come back to WWE at any time the bank. The Money in the Bank briefcase is something that was designed by WWE. It's a WWE invention. It's the best thing that they've had, that they've come up with since the Royal Rumble. You know,
absolutely.
In terms of storytelling and in terms of making new stars and in terms of, so I know that the joke is that all wrestling podcasts do is sit around and talk about how the WWE needs to make new stars, but that's not the case in this one, because we talked about this last week when we were previewing the Royal Rumble match. We talked about how any one of these guys, except for Randy Orton or maybe Baron Corbin, could win this and have it, and any one of them could win it, and it would be exciting. That's 6 guys that you have in the ring. And I would even argue, as a guy who likes Baron Corbin more than other people, his character with Money in the Bank briefcase again would have been great.
That's why I picked him.
Especially, I mean, because then you have, people can talk shit on him having lost it, or he could lose.
Yeah.
And that would only add to his character more. Like, that would be a real character building thing for a guy that you can tell that they're planning on having in there for a while. But to have Brock Lesnar come in, not have to fight in the match, come down, take a guy who's a great worker like Sami Zayn. And I like Brock Lesnar for what he does. But why is Vince incapable of having this dude in the promotion? It had to be for the title ever since he's come back, except for the Undertaker shit.
Everything, yeah.
And maybe the No, that wasn't for the title.
It was a streak.
They did the Goldberg thing, like that didn't have to be for the title.
No, and they took it off a guy like KO. Kevin Owens. Yeah, they could have Goldberg versus Lesnar for no
just
problem
fine by itself.
Oh yeah, no title necessary, and they took it off of Kevin Owens, the man. All respect to Becky Lynch, but they took it off him in 15 seconds against Goldberg against KO and Goldberg. The pay-per-view Lesnar, who does not need the Money in the Bank. And also, this is another thing that bothers me, is that Money in the Bank should be something that somebody just kind of toys with the champ for a while.
It's long-term storytelling, and they were incapable of it.
They didn't used to be.
No.
They used to have guys carry money. They had fucking Seth Rollins carry Money in the Bank till WrestleMania.
Well, look at Edge's.
And what happened? It was one of the best WrestleMania moments of all time.
Edge too. And that was the early days. They knew how to book that cash in.
But in a row where the Money in the Bank winners last year was Bliss and Strowman. Strowman cashed in ahead of time, which takes away all the drama or anything that you can do to make it exciting. And Alexa Bliss cashed in the same night. So now you have one money, and I'm glad that Bayley cashed in successfully. I'm totally cool with that.
But that's one down.
That's one down, and the other one's on Brock Lesnar. So now you have this thing that people look forward to. Like, who's going to be the Money in the Bank guy? How's he going to?
And he's just going to cash in for Seth. And they could have just made the match with Seth. Like, if you're gonna have Brock Lesnar take it and then not show up on TV for 6 months and then one night randomly run down and fucking take the title,
that would be cool.
That's interesting. But no, you're just gonna have him hold it up, and Heyman's gonna be like, all right, we're gonna face this guy, and that's what's gonna happen.
There's the best case scenario for this is what you just said, but it's the first night that SmackDown debuts on Fox or something. Yeah. And I mean,
it'll probably be Saudi Arabia.
That's the worst case.
I don't think
that's the worst case scenario is that he cashes in at Saudi Arabia.
Just as good or the equivalent to WrestleMania.
Okay, I'm going to turn to the bad. But to finish my point, and I know I'm being long-winded, I appreciate the air that you're giving me.
It's just the absence of JCB.
I was just going to say that.
If he was going to cash in, if the idea is that Brock is going to cash in on Roman Reigns the first night that SmackDown airs on Fox, which is October, I think.
Yeah.
That's fine. The thing is that you could have just given Brock Lesnar a title shot on that night and advertised that Brock Lesnar is going to have a title match against Roman Reigns for the first night that SmackDown's on Fox. That makes sense.
They sacrificed a year of storytelling for one night of heat.
What if?
Just think if McIntyre had this.
What if he's been on both shows since Money in the Bank, the Boombox and shit? Yeah. What if they start putting him on TV with that and just teasing, fucking with people, playing, having fun like he had on SmackDown? He was having a fucking blast.
I bet they don't.
I know. I bet they don't too. But if they do, that would be one of the best case scenarios.
You know what's funny is they even kind of worked the boys, as far as I understand. It was McIntyre's Money in the Bank, and then they were told that week that it was Ali, and Ali was told right before he went on that there was an 8th guy coming out.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I heard that the guys in the ring didn't know.
That's bullshit. See,
you could actually see Randy Orton's face.
Oh, yeah, Randy tweeted about it too, I think.
Yeah, like there's a picture of him leaning against the fucking ring, like holding his arm, and when Brock Lesnar's music hits, and Randy's face is fucking priceless. He's just like, Jesus.
If they didn't know,
Christ.
then I
gotta see that.
Because then they're gonna showcase themselves in that shit.
Maybe they were told it was an 8th man or something,
but not Brock. But if they didn't know it was Brock, dude, fuck all that.
Man, it's terrible. It's just there's so many ways. Like you said, they sacrificed a year of storytelling, which was always the best part about Money in the Bank.
That's the whole point.
It's the whole point of the briefcase is that you have the Miz come down and cash in on Randy Orton at the end of some random Raw, and the place goes nuts. Or you have Dolph Ziggler come in and cash in on, I don't remember who he cashed in on, but where the place went absolutely nuts. You create a real and a moment not for the fucking Prince of Saudi Arabia.
No, I don't think they'll do it there. And if they
don't be surprised,
and he wins at Saudi Arabia, like, me, I'm Mr.
New.
Positive.
Nothing new.
But
no, you can be negative in this count.
Okay, fuck that.
What you were bringing up earlier about that promo for the Saudi Arabia shit, which I'm not gonna watch. Fuck it. I'm just I don't
care.
It shouldn't be canon.
Oh, did you hear about Aleister Black?
Yeah, Aleister Black's not going, and KO's not going either.
Well, KO, yeah, that's a different story. Aleister Black has no choice because of the Lilith tattoo on his back. Saudi Arabia doesn't want him in their ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's a religious symbol. So either he's like,
Undertaker's okay.
What a bunch of fucking nerds.
Yeah, Undertaker and Randy Orton.
That's actually
a
perfect way to describe Saudi Arabia. Royalty, just a bunch of fucking rich nerds.
Just rich nerds that execute journalists and
incel fucking
nerds.
God.
Saudi Arabia. Don't get a fatwa on us. But the other thing where they were talking about,
he said fatwa.
When they're talking about what's the only thing that can be bigger and better than WrestleMania, they're talking about what do they call it? I don't even know what it's called. Crown Jewel.
It'll be just as good, if not the equivalent to WrestleMania. And that's the exact script that they have all said over and over.
Exactly.
And over again.
How does Vince do that to himself? WrestleMania is his. He thinks of it as his, not only his money bags, but his addition to the world. He thinks about WrestleMania like it's his baby. And then he undersells it by talking about this fucking Saudi Arabia bullshit.
He'll do anything for money,
and
man.
It's not going to be that good. Look,
no, it's going to suck.
Randy, Triple H, Sure, could be cool.
That's
Like,
a match.
yeah, that's one of the other matches on the card, which I think is funny that they're talking about the whole tattoo thing and whatever. But so that's one match. Undertaker Goldberg, who gives
Oh my
a shit?
God. Jesus
Like
Christ.
Goldberg can't wrestle because he's not a good wrestler, and Undertaker can't wrestle because he's got fucking
Because he's
Darth
old,
Vader hips.
Because he's old and brittle.
Darth Vader hips.
But why are you going to put Undertaker in the ring with a guy that's never been known for taking care of his opponents?
No.
Oh yeah,
I don't-
exactly.
You know?
Unless Brock Lesnar, oh yeah, like who gives a shit? None of that card sounds fun. None of it.
None of it.
Undertaker would shoot on him though, like
Oh, he beat the shit
because
out
like
of him.
he's got no respect for those WCW guys. Like he'd fucking shoot on him.
Yeah.
All right.
Like if he spears him too hard, he's going right into a triangle.
I mean, Miz
Oh, yeah.
versus, Miz
We'll break
versus
his arm.
Shane. I'll admit I didn't watch it.
I didn't
It
know.
was
I don't
fucking
know enough
awful.
about
It was
it.
a stupid finish. It was a stupid match.
Roman Reigns versus Elias. That's a Raw thing.
It was just as short as it should have been.
Yeah, it was fine. Whatever.
I did watch Tony Nese versus Daivari, which had some good action, but
It was all right.
Fucking crowd has no reason to like that match because like the same thing with the house show. Nobody knows who these guys are. They don't even give them time on the regular programming. So you have to like have the network and you have to actually tune into 205 Live, which
Right.
nobody does.
Meanwhile, Daniel Bryan and the tag team thing was on the fucking show when
Yeah.
that
Next, the Bukkake Warriors.
oh yeah, they nixed the Bukkake Warriors, and I'll say this though about Engineer Sam, who's not here tonight. We're replaced by Wally Pip in the house. Sam was the only one that picked the Usos.
Yeah.
but
Sam picked up a scat fetish tonight.
he didn't have.
You know what I
He
didn't know
have
about
a,
that? I didn't know it wasn't for the titles.
Yeah, we didn't either. Nobody did.
It would have changed my vote.
Yeah.
I just because loyal listener Top Hat always
What's up, Top Hat?
wants me to say what the point totals were because he listens to the predictions.
Fuck.
Jason won the week with 12. Bill and Two Beer were tied for 10. Murray Man got 9. You know where you screwed up, don't you? When you picked Elias,
I know.
that Bill Baggy 2017
That and
prediction, and Engineer Sam coming in with a lowly 6.
Woo, what
shit,
a
son.
Actually, Sam only getting 6 points. We should have put that in the 1 count because that's
Yeah.
a positive of last week.
Yeah.
And that'll bring it to our 3 counts. All right, so this kind of snuck up on us. I really wasn't thinking about this, but Double or Nothing is this weekend.
Yeah. So Mark on Facebook, our good buddy Mark, he's really pissed off that we're not talking about who's going to do the viewing party for this again.
Oh, Mark
Don't-
Ortolan?
Yeah, don't tell them that we're all going to my house. So much pizza
Oh,
and wings.
I didn't. I
Oh,
just
man.
now heard about it, so
Yeah.
it must be one of
Oh,
our sponsors.
Actually, it must have been at JJ Twigs if
Yeah.
nobody's heard.
Yeah.
You guys are really selling this well. But so they All or Nothing or Double or Nothing AEW. It's AEW's first official event. It is this Saturday in Las Vegas. They kind of took a hit recently with that the Hangman Page and Pac match is no longer happening. Apparently, Pac wasn't down with the long-term booking that they had in store for him. Apparently, he was supposed to go over Hangman Page, but was supposed to lose to Omega in his first title defense. And Pac did not want to lose clean while holding the Dragon Gate belts. This is something that they're going to have to contend with, especially if they're allowing for guys that are holding belts from other promotions to defend and or hold those belts while they perform in AEW events. So with that match being gone, there is not a title match on this card. There is the 21-man battle royal, the winner of which will face Jericho. The winner of the 21-man battle royal will face the winner of Jericho versus Omega. We also have SoCal Uncensored versus Strong Hearts. We have Cody versus Dustin, Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose, and Kylie Ray in a triple threat match. I don't know if that's for a women's belt.
No, they
No.
haven't announced the women's belt yet.
And then you have, I'm just naming the biggest matches that we have. And then you have the Bucks versus the Lucha Bros. So, Two Beer Zach, I'm going to ask you, if you were going to plan out this card, what would you have main event?
Oh, it's definitely Kenny Jericho.
It's gotta
But
be, right?
I could also see them doing Young Bucks
Yeah.
and Lucha Brothers because it's going to be a spot fest.
That'd be
And
crazy.
they also want to put tag team wrestling at the forefront of people's minds. So a subtle way to do that is to have, a banger match. And also, like, Jericho Omega is going to be good storytelling, but it's going to be not that. Like, Jericho's not fucking working, like any of those guys.
It's not going to be it's not going to be that. I guess there's no other way to say is that Jericho's just older and that the Lucha Brothers are pretty much the two most exciting guys in the entire promotion in terms of watching them in ring.
Yeah, besides like the Bucks themselves, it really is like that's a great matchup. Could definitely, be a long time feud, for these guys.
And am I wrong in saying that all in the last match that went on was the tag match, right?
Yeah,
it was cut super short.
Match. Yeah, it was the 6-person tag match. Basically, they had to cut like 7 minutes from it, and they decided to cut their own match, which was cool. And then they gave all the time to like Bandito. Like,
right.
Yeah, so none of those guys really got.
I mean, that's the same thing Triple H would do. He would cut time off of his own match.
Absolutely,
to give more time.
He would have shaved it down from like 47 minutes to 33.
Yeah, he only would have meandered around the crowd, throwing the
spitting water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Murray, what's the match that you're looking forward to the most?
Looking forward to honestly, the Battle Royal's intriguing, just because of where that will lead.
It's fresh too.
It's fresh, and also to kind of talk about the whole Hangman thing. Cody did say in a recent interview that he will be there, gear ready,
full gear,
but
gear.
They don't. Whatever he might be doing, quote unquote, is a mystery. Also, he said the new championship, and what he said, apparently they're going backwards and they're trying to push them, calling it belts in AEW.
Nice.
Which Cody was kind of weird about, but he also said that might make an appearance on Saturday.
It'd be cool if he was done with it, like the dude making it, because I'd like to see it.
Apparently, it's done, or
nice.
at least the concept, the full-on concept.
I saw the outline, like on a Being the Elite, and it looks like the Mid-South belt, which was a fucking dope belt.
They said it's Cody's saying it that it's unbelievably gorgeous.
Right on.
The nicest title, a belt of all time. But yeah, so I'm excited about the Battle Royal, though. I think it's a nice, fresh way to launch multiple guys on one match.
If the all-in card is any indicator of how they're going to plan out this card, then you remember that time they had Magnus versus Cody as kind of like the first half main event.
Yeah.
And then they had the Bucks then they had that 6-man tag as the second half main event. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same thing with Jericho and Omega, putting them in the middle. But
I think Cody Dustin probably go in the middle.
Same.
If I was betting, if I was betting on it, I would say that the main event would be Omega versus Jericho. That's a big time main event.
It's a big time match. It's number 2. Alpha and Omega was the biggest Wrestle Kingdom for New Japan because it brought all of the American viewers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was their biggest one. So
looking at the participants in that 21-man casino battle royal, I can't see anybody. There's 4 TBA spots at the end. I can't see any of these guys being a big enough name to take on either Omega or Jericho. So I think if I was going to call who's going to win it, I'm going to say Jon Moxley.
Yet Jon Moxley is shooting a
Is
movie
that official?
now.
No.
No,
I was going to say.
Jon Moxley's shooting a movie, but that doesn't mean that he can't like scoot out, real quick.
I mean, that would make
for an evening.
I mean, Jon Moxley versus Omega or Jon Moxley versus Jericho as a title. You don't like that?
Tony Khan owns a plane,
I don't really care.
so they can. I know that
does nothing for you, huh?
I'm not a Moxley. I'm not a Moxley Dean guy.
It's a big name, and they need
I
a big
totally
name.
agree with that.
They need a big name.
Plus, what a fuck you to WWE.
Of course.
If
God,
Moxley leaves WWE and then goes straight and then starts holding the new AEW strap.
So if you guys also remember with All In, like we did not expect to see Jericho,
Right.
And isn't that when he was dressed up as
he was dressed
Pentagon?
up as Pentagon, and he flew in on Tony Khan's plane. This is all way before EW, but Tony Khan let him use his private jet because he had like a show to be at in a couple hours. So like if Jon Moxley's on a movie set, motherfucker's a billionaire. Like he'll fly the plane out. But apparently CM Punk's got a booking, so it ain't CM Punk.
It ain't CM Punk.
And it wasn't going to be anyway, but just
even if it is CM Punk, I seriously do not want that to be spoiled.
Well,
oh yeah, I know, right?
Honestly, I want them to do this without him. If he comes in, bring it down a couple months or so and let it build something to that, which I think they'd be good at doing.
Right.
But don't do it now. They need to showcase what they have without those types of stars in there, in my opinion.
That makes tons of sense to me. And that's going to do it for our 3 count. Hey guys, we're talking about F&B Eatery. It's the best sandwich in St. Louis, or best hamburger in St. Louis. I'm telling you, it's at 3453 Hampton Avenue. Go check out our boy. If you've never been there,
smash patties. Baby.
Oh, those smash patties! It's the best burger. It's the best burger that you can have. They are open Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. So the hours, you got to know the hours. But I've been there for breakfast too, on a Saturday and Sunday morning / afternoon, and their breakfast is fire also. So go get yourself some F&B Eatery and tell them the band from Ringside sent you. Right here, Andrew. Okay, guys, some odds and ends. We got about 10 minutes or so, 10 or 15 minutes. WWE introduced a new belt this week to just the loudest fanfare that you could even imagine. They brought Mick Foley out. Mick Foley looking kind of haggard, more haggard than usual.
Is missing some teeth.
He didn't seem that enthused about the promo that he was cutting. He was also missing an ear. But they introduced a new 24/7 belt, which is essentially the hardcore belt.
PG.
You can pin. It can be defended at any time, anywhere, as long as there is a referee present. Zach, what were you telling me before the show about where they got this idea for the 24/7 belt?
I don't know if this is confirmed or not. It was something that I saw on Reddit. I didn't see the source. I was just like, I think it was taking a shit. So basically the 3rd hour ratings of Raw, and the ratings in Raw in general have been bad. They've been really, really bad. So year to date, they've lost 25% of viewership just in the last year, which is representative. I mean, if we just look anecdotally at the room full of people that we usually have, I stopped watching, and
I watched, but I got rid of the network.
Yeah, so they're losing viewers. So USA is not happy about this. I mean, they just paid a bunch of money to keep Raw. They lost SmackDown. So obviously, these executives are going to be trying to give them notes. And I mean, can you imagine giving Vince McMahon notes?
I was just gonna say, it's gotta fucking drive him crazy.
Dude, it's like he's got to be so mad.
I love it.
But apparently, he felt that he needed to acquiesce and give a little bit. So they're doing this 3rd hour change with the darker lighting.
I love it.
And it was
it looks good.
The 24/7 belt was bringing back a 24/7 belt was the best of the terrible ideas. Because can you imagine USA Network executives that don't know anything about wrestling? How about just number one note should just be like, hey, write a better show.
I know, man. Just
you'd get more people to watch if you just didn't suck so bad at making this show. It doesn't need darker lighting. It doesn't need a new belt. This is the 18th belt that WWE has. It doesn't need it. It just needs better fucking writing. Just Vince is gonna go. That's it. But anyway, the belt's a thing.
Are you pro or anti the 24/7 belt?
I'm so indifferent. It's like abortion. I'm just totally indifferent.
What do you think? I mean, that's the way most people feel about abortion.
Dude, okay. Fucking positive Murr over here.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it at first.
Mm-hmm.
At first glance, especially the crowd on SmackDown was actually pretty hot all night. They were actually on fire all night. And then
the crowd on Raw gave them no reaction at all.
But SmackDown had a good crowd. And Mick Foley, and it's to me, there was only one option of what it could be because of how it was set up. And I think everybody knew that. I think they knew that going into it.
I mean, what else would it be? The European?
So I'm getting to that. So I don't know. So I hated the way it looked. Now, upon re-entry to this whole thing, first of all, I agree with write a better show, because this is just a lazy excuse to get guys and possibly girls over.
Mhm.
So I agree. But at the same time, none of these people are doing shit right now. Like even the B team showed up out of nowhere.
We
and
were
this and that.
we were
So-
talking about that, and I just would have appreciated like if just Roman came down with him to try to get it.
Well, yeah.
Instead, it just looks like a fucking jobber
Oh,
title.
I totally agree on that too, and we'll see how it evolves
Or
from
if
here.
they would have put it on Roman first.
Yeah,
But-
actually, like that would have,
Yeah.
get somebody. Yeah, I'd have been
been-
fine with that.
We would have
just put it-
bitched
put
about that so heavy.
Nah, but okay, so put it on somebody that's got a little bit of juice.
Our fucking truth. He's
Actually,
killing it.
He's doing a good job.
Calling it the European title.
and
Yeah.
saying that he's already done 24 hours and he only has to do 7 more. And
Yeah.
then
And then
Yeah,
did-
if it's going to be a comedy
if you
undercard
take
title,
the 24 and round the 2 or round the 7, like he's an idiot, and it's so good.
it's
Not
good
only
for now.
that, but that's across all platforms, which means the title can change hand on fucking Twitter, on
Yeah.
one of their personal Twitters.
yeah,
Matt Hardy has broken officially again through this
Yeah,
24/7
broke on
thing.
he
In the
broke on a
parking lot.
fucking in a parking lot. That was pretty good.
It was all because the cameramen were ruining it, so he broke.
There's cool things. There's cool things that they could do with it. Like if you're watching the network, like put a little thing up in the right hand corner, say click here to watch the 24/7.
Totally.
They might be at a house show or something. It's like click here to watch this, or you can get a notification on your phone and maybe watch the match on
They're
your phone
trying
or something.
something.
They
with
give you like
this.
one more reason to follow Mandy Rose's Snapchat.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
But I just wish it didn't look like a belt that they sold at the concession place at the house show.
That
you
might
know?
be why they did it though. Like, because so far it's a comedy belt and it's a watch. If you look at it close enough, it's a fucking watch.
Is it really? Because I
Yes.
was like, why don't they just make it a clock
It
instead
is.
of it saying 24?
It is.
Instead of it saying 24/7.
The line goes across, and then there's the little marks, the 12 marks. It's, so
I
it's a
didn't-
I
watch.
couldn't look at it for long enough.
I don't want to.
I
But,
just watched it for the first time right before
Right.
I came in. I heard that everybody was shitting on it.
so it's ugly as hell, but there's also a point.
a little better.
Well,
Then,
yeah,
I mean, if that
gotta
was
add
the
some color to
if
it.
that was the point, then why didn't they try to make it seem more comic when Mick Foley was out
Oh,
there?
he looked. I think it was Zach and I were both.
He's never cut a promo on television to a crowd that was that dead.
You could see it in his face
Oh, yeah,
immediately after he pulled it out. He's like, "Fuck."
Right?
And then he went for the cheap pop.
He
And
did.
almost
No one
immediately.
cared.
Like
He
The
looked-
quietest it's been in years.
He looked like The Rock when The Rock came out to save Roman Reigns after Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, and everybody booed him anyway. And The Rock had that look on his face, like he's like, I've been
Damn.
booed in a long time.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the hell's
it's
going
like,
on?
damn, you got heat.
Something else now. I'm actually interested in this development that happened is Dolph Ziggler came out, attacked Kofi Kingston. It looks like they're fighting in Saudi Arabia.
Gave a weird promo.
He gave a very emotional promo.
I loved it though,
I thought it was really good also.
I think he did a good job with it. It was just
especially
weird.
at the end. He started like he got more invested in it.
I
As
was
he went
cooler
along.
with the delivery of it than I was with the actual material.
yeah,
Sure.
How about
yeah,
that? I'll say
yeah,
that.
for sure.
So yeah, Zach put a meme on Friends of BFR on Facebook today that said Dolph won his first U.S. title from Kofi, won his first IC
love
title from Kofi. Is he going to win his first heavyweight title from Kofi? Well, it's not his first heavyweight title, but it's
His first WWE championship.
gotcha. I would say no. I
don't think so.
I don't think Dolph's going to
I
win
only
it.
posted it up there because I like the stats, and that's why another reason I'm excited about AEW. They're supposed to be doing stats like this. Like, how much more invested? I got to go to Reddit, and some fucking neckbeard's got to make a meme for me to like get invested in this fucking storyline. I mean, like
Yeah.
for real. Like Michael Cole
exactly
gets
right.
paid like fucking 7-8 figures. Like,
Neckbeard's doing all the work. Looks like the fucking Roman Elias thing. You know what? Let's just skip that one.
Next,
you want to talk about
Uh,
BOSJ real quick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about Best of the Super Juniors in NJPW. I watched about 6 hours of it today.
Nice. Yeah, I woke up 4 a.m. because it was storming here in St. Louis, and there was a live New Japan show. So I was like, "Fuck it, let's just watch." Glad I did. Really great shows. Probably the best so far of the tournament. We got a Ospreay versus El Phantasmo match that was fire, like from start to finish. And the night before, Will Ospreay just had a great match with Yo, and they were like very different matches. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing about Will Ospreay. Like he's not a one-trick pony. This dude he can put on like classics back to back and make them feel like totally different. But yeah, so that was an absolute standout. What were some of your favorite matches?
Well, the Ospreay Yo match stood out to me. I watched Gresham, and now I can't remember the guy's name. Like I said, I probably watched 10 matches today while I was working. Ospreay, I haven't seen the standings lately, but Ospreay hasn't lost yet, has he?
Actually, he lost to El Phantasmo, so that's the thing. So
that's right.
Now in A block, we've got Shingo Takagi, who is not only undefeated in A block, he is undefeated in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And so that's a big story in this tournament. And then we have El Phantasmo, who's brand new, newest member of Bullet Club, newest member of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They are pushing him really hard. Motherfucker went over Will Ospreay. So, I mean, like, that's the only loss that he's had. Even Dragon Lee, who's the current fucking IWGP Junior Heavyweight champion, whose belt everyone is fighting for in this tournament, has lost twice.
Right.
So, I mean, there's been standings now. Takagi and El Phantasmo at 10. Ishimori and surprisingly Taguchi, who's always solid in these things. He's a really good wrestler, tied at 8. Ospreay also has 8, and then Dragon Lee, Jonathan Gresham, and Robbie Eagles, and Yo coming up with 6. Yo,
I like that Robbie Eagles El Phantasmo match.
That was good too. Faction on faction.
It was like a comedy match though. That was funny.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing. You get these factions on factions that would not normally wrestle. And like we've got Yo and Rocky Romero had a great match, as did Will Ospreay. And Yo and Will Ospreay and Rocky Romero had great matches, and they're all members of Chaos, and they would not normally wrestle. Like, super cool. Like, this is a really good Battle of Super Juniors. Last year was much more high flying, high impact. You're probably going to have that whenever you've got Takahashi, you know, in there, and a lot of these other guys. But there's been really good stories, and check it out. Worth your 900 yen.
Right here, Andrew. Andrea, I'm going to do birthdays, and then when I'm done with birthdays, you can just start playing the song, and I'll talk over it for the outro. So, all right, birthdays this week, everybody. Hornswoggle is only 33 years old. Nia Jax
What is that in dog years?
35. The Brian Kendrick is 39. Seth Rollins, 30-year Universal Champion Seth Rollins is 33. Natalia is 37.
And a recent homosexual.
What?
He's dating the man.
Ow!
Eric Bischoff is 64. Bo Dallas only 29. Roman Reigns is 34. Alberto Del Rio is 42, and Bray Wyatt is 32. That's a kind of a heavy hitter birthday
no
week.
Shit.
Hey everybody, we know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you taking the time to listen to ours. For Shock City Studios, for F&B Eatery, for Soul Taco, for JJ Twigs, for Schlafly, for Jason Cornelius Bell, for Andrew Bushway, for Murray the Murray Man Murray, for Two Beer Zach Bowman.
I'm not as good at
Know what I am, I'm a common man. I'm banned from ringside. It's that 9 to 5 time to feed alive. This is banned from ringside.